talk about today?
Hi, if you're new to Pepper Joe's and Penny's Tomatoes, welcome. If you're an existing customer, thanks so much. We surely appreciate you and we appreciate your business. Thank you for supporting us. Okay, today's video is about all the emails that we get. We get hundreds of emails a week. I'd say that 80% of them have the same questions, so I thought I'd address them in this video. Now, by the way, we also have at our pepperjoe.com website, FAQ, frequently asked questions. It's on the left navigational bar, and I take the time to explain all the common questions that we get in great depth. Now, we do answer every email. Once in a while, one may slip through the cracks, but it's a policy of ours to personally answer every email. But they have to be short and sweet due to the volume of questions we get. So again, go to pepperjoe.com, FAQ. All right, let me rock and roll here. Here is the most questions that I get. Germination. Yeah, we do prefer the paper towel and plastic bag method. You spray the paper towel with warm water, put your seeds inside of it, put it on the refrigerator or warm area overnight or for up to a day. Take the seeds out, plant them, they're going to germinate quicker. Now in germination, common problems. Number one, too much watering. And Mother Nature, it doesn't rain every day unless you're in a tropical rainforest. So give your plants a good soaking and then back off for a couple days. Wait till the soil dries for just about a day, then soak them again. Number one problem, too much water, they rot. Number two problem, conversely, is not enough water. In order to germinate, they need moisture. So what you want to do is make sure you're watering them so that the seed doesn't just sit there inactive, dormant. Okay, next big question I get. Pepper Joe, my leaves are turning yellow or they're brown on the edges. What's the problem? Typically, it's a fungus problem or a bacterial problem. So we have a cure-all. And here's a good example right here of a leaf that has some yellow and brown edges. This has a fungus problem. So what's the solution? I've always recommended sulfur. This is one brand. This one happens to be 25% sulfur, 5% copper. Copper is a good additive too because they're drying agents, the sulfur and the copper. I prefer 100% sulfur with a little bit of copper added. Actually, it's 95% sulfur, 5% copper. Sells at Lowe's, Home Depot, other stores like that, other discounters. And this is a dust. All you do is open the top. I'm not going to demonstrate today, but you dust all the leaves because it's windy out here. I don't want to get it all over me. And the cool thing about this, and this is why I love it, and this is why I recommend sulfur, the cool thing is, kills the fungus, kills the bacteria, but it also feeds the plants. Your plants, peppers, tomatoes, garden plants, veggies, they love sulfur. It's a good fertilizer. Now a real good habit is every time you do a transplant, put sulfur in the transplant hole, and in many cases it'll prevent the disease. But you may have a soil-borne disease, so at the end of the season, wash your pots out real well with a little bit of Clorox and water solution. Now, speaking of containers, big question I get asked all the time is what kind of soil mix do we use? Well, my preference is a mix of 1/3 good potting soil, 1/3 composted cow manure. Again, you buy it from the store, it's a commercial product, it's deodorized, it's clean. And then 1/3 sand. The sand I love for peppers, tomatoes, etc. because it aerates the soil, it creates good drainage, and the roots really take off much better with sand. So again, 1/3 potting soil, 1/3 cow manure, and 1/3 sand. Okay, so that's it on plant diseases. Next up, Pepper Joe, what do I do about bugs? Well, this is a general answer. I like a 1 teaspoon of dish soap. My preferred brand, by the way, my preferred brand is Ivory because the formula hasn't changed since day one. But actually, just any kind of dish soap. And all you do, you put in a bottle, a spray bottle, 1 teaspoon, spray it on the plant. Get it nice and thoroughly. I can smell the soap, and you can see it here on the leaves. Now, why does garden soap work? It's pretty cool the way it works. With a soft-bodied insect, like an aphid, it suffocates them because they breathe through their skin. On a hard-bodied insect, it gives them a terminal case of dysentery. It's not a cure-all, but I'd say it probably works 80–90% of your garden pest. Penny used it recently. We had an infestation on our lemon tree. She sprayed stink bugs. They disappeared. So good all-around solution. Okay, next big question. Pepper Joe, what kind of fertilizer do you recommend? Now, most commercial fertilizers, they recommend you use them every 2 weeks. I'll get to the fertilizer in a minute, but another big question. My plant is stunted, or it's not growing well, or it's stalled, which is common, by the way, especially in the heat of the summer. Peppers will stall, even more so tomatoes will stall. They just kind of slow down in the dog days of summer like August. They'll pick back up, don't give up on them. September, October, you'll get a nice bumper crop. But when they stall, what can you do? Double up the fertilizer. Make it every week instead of every 2 weeks. Now, our preferred fertilizer, we're more organic growers, so that leaves Miracle Grow out, but many of our customers use it, so feel free to. But we recommend a good fish emulsion. Here's a brand called Alaska. Very good fertilizer. As a matter of fact, me and Penny were out in California, Napa Valley. We recognize this odor. It's not too bad of an odor. And I asked the groundskeeper what he was using. He was using fish emulsion on the whole property. The bushes, the shrubs, the flowers, and the grapevines. Pretty cool. So we do recommend that. Now, this is a fast release fertilizer. I like a slow release fertilizer a couple weeks after transplant. And here they are. I recommend bone meal. This one's pretty well powdered. And I recommend blood meal. You can use them both. You can use one or the other. You can alternate them a couple weeks apart. But what they do is slow release. You dig them into the soil, scratch them in with your little hoe, and they'll fertilize the plant for months. And this is important because when you get a lot of rain, that leaches the fertilizer out of your containers or your soil. So, this you'd have to reapply quicker if it rains a lot. However, the slow release is in the soil releasing slowly, of course. So try to use both. Now, I'm kind of partial, and we do sell this, and this is a plug. Soil Blast and Microblast. Great fertilizer, Soil Blast. Microblast, let me quickly tell you about that. And it is on our websites, Pepper Joe's and Penny Tomatoes. Microblast is a newer cutting-edge product that puts billions of beneficial fungi and bacteria into the soil. And then they inoculate, and they grow and they multiply. It's in there permanently, although you should re-add it every year. And they give the roots a better uptake of fertilizer, creates a better environment, and it works synergistically with your fertilizers and your soil microorganisms, blah, blah, blah. It's just a wonderful product. You may want to test that and try it. Now, the final fertilizer I recommend is good old Epsom Salt. Inexpensive. You find it at CVS, Walmart, Kmart, discounters. And it's real simple. 2 tablespoons. Mixed in with a spray bottle. Now you have to shake it really vigorously because those crystals take a couple minutes to gel with the water. Now Penny came up with a good tip, and I'm sure other people thought of this as well. We're big into recycling. Penny likes to put her Epsom salt in a recycled bottle with 3 holes punched in it. And then in addition to the foliar spray, you want to make sure you get all the leaves, top and bottom. It's also good fertilizer and easy to apply. This is also a great tip for seedlings because it doesn't damage the tender little seedlings. Now the final thing I want to mention, boy, it's hot out here. Bear with me. Top questions from our customers. The other one has to do with transplanting. And that's your plant's most vulnerable time because you're taking it, in most cases, from a hothouse or an indoor environment into an outdoor environment. See this sun that's beating down on me today? That will kill your plants. You have to introduce them gradually. The first day, 1 hour only outside. Better yet is if you can wait for a day that's a little rainy, not a thunderstorm. Will kill the little, or knock it over, your little seedling. Or better yet is a cloudy day. Take it outside, there's still a little sun coming through the rain or the clouds, it'll get acclimated. Day 2, 2 hours. Day 3, 3 hours. You get the point. After a couple weeks, it's hardened up, it's used to the outdoor environment, and it's ready for transplant. So we've just taken you from germination to transplant to fertilizers to diseases to pest control. We've covered all the bases, and for a beginning gardener or a medium gardener, medium skills, you've now covered the whole gamut of growing hot peppers and tomatoes and other veggies. So I hope this video has been useful. What I'll do in a lot of cases is copy and paste this and put it in an email that you sent me to answer your questions. I hope it's been helpful. And once again, please remember, go to our website, FAQ, left navigational bar. It just says FAQ. There's a ton of good information. Now also on our websites, we still have other tips in growing input and gardening tips. So please, it's all there for you. We want to stay with you every step of the way after you make a purchase from us. And this is to lend you some support. Okay, stay tuned for more videos from Penny's Tomatoes and Pepper Joe's, and thanks for tuning in.